Jess McGlynn is going to come and share with us now some thoughts on the vision of Compassion Acts, and she is the Poverty Reduction Manager for Compassion. We go, ooh, lovely to have you with us today, Jess.
Well, hello everyone. Thank you very much, first of all, for inviting us to come and share a little bit about the future of the former Victoria Methodist Church, which we are now calling the Victoria Centre. Just to introduce myself, I am the Poverty Reduction Manager. That is a very lofty title. Basically, I manage the food banks, I look after our volunteers, of which we have around 140, 150 at the moment, and I take the lead on some of the wider projects that I'm going to very, very briefly talk about here. I do have some notes, not because I plan to talk for a very long time, but because I do have the tendency to go off on a tangent, so hopefully this will keep me on point and we won't get lost. I'm not going to talk too much about the food bank or the food pantry. Hopefully most of you know what a food bank does. If you have any specific questions about food bank, then come and by me. I'll probably be at the back eating cake at the end of this. Just come and ask me any questions that you have. I want to talk more about some of the wider projects that we're going to be able to put some momentum behind now that we have the Victoria Centre as a resource. But before I talk about what we're going to do, I want to just share very quickly about why we're doing what we're doing. So as a charity, we have a new strategy called Going Upstream. We want to not only look at ways of breaking the cycle of poverty, but also to put preventative measures in place. And there is a very good quote by Desmond Tutu, which I'm going to read for you, because if I paraphrased it, I would get it completely wrong, which summarises the strategy very well. There comes a point where we need to stop just pulling people out of the river. We need to go upstream and find out why they are falling in. And that is very much at the heart of some of the wider projects that we're going to be doing now that we have the Victoria Centre as a premises from which to grow and develop, and as I say, really put some momentum behind these projects. So, some context. Food bank is the front door. It's how we meet a lot of the people that we work with, and for some people who come to food bank, it's a temporary crisis that they found themselves in. Perhaps they are a low-income household and they've had an unexpected bill and that's left no money for food. And so we are able to support them with a couple of food parcels, wish them well and see them on their way. For some people it's a little bit more in-depth and complex, and we might need to refer them into our food pantries, which are weekly food clubs. People get 12 months at the food pantry and then they are invited to join our Next Steps project, and it's primarily the Next Steps project that I'm going to talk about. Because again, 12 months at a food pantry, for some people it allows them to have that little bit of breathing space financially, and it can help them to get themselves back on an even keel. And for some people, 12 months at the pantry is all that they need. But again, for some people, the reasons why they found themselves in food poverty can be quite complex and are not necessarily solved after 12 months in the food pantry. And so we have our Next Steps project. And what that is about driving into the specific reasons why a person has found themselves in food poverty and seeing if we as a charity can help them to address those. We do that by pairing the clients with a mentor who creates a personal plan for them. And again, as a charity, we look to put on courses and classes to see if we can meet those needs. The reasons why people find themselves in food poverty can be quite wide and varied. It's not always financial. Sometimes it can be because of a bereavement, because of addiction. It can be a lack of life skills, so budgeting, meal planning, money management. Sometimes it can be lack of access to technology or education. The scope and the spectrum for which people find themselves in food poverty can be quite wide and varied. One of the exciting things about Next Steps is that we can actually drill down into those reasons and seek to address them, and that means that as a charity we can make sure that what we're doing is very specific. It's not just someone with a nice idea. So it's not just me with no lived-in experience saying, oh, it might be nice if we did a course about this or a class about this. We can actually create courses and classes using the Victoria Centre as our premises to meet a specific need. And invariably what benefits the Next Steps members is also going to benefit the community, because what one person finds difficult, often we find that other people find it challenging as well, and we'll be able to open up the community room at the Victoria Centre and offer these courses to the community. So Next Steps, it's not just about quick fixes, it's about consistent and caring support, and we're very excited that we can evolve and grow and shape that through having the Victoria Centre as our base. There are also wider preventative projects that we can look at. Some of you may know that we ran a holiday club over the summer for children on free school meals and in the Just About Managing category, and we did that in partnership with a number of churches across Southport. We ran 700 sessions, so we did 700 meals for children through those 2 weeks, which is fantastic. It's a fantastic preventative thing. We're also looking at doing a drop-in in the October half term, so parents can come, do a craft with their children, and then take a food parcel home. We have an allotment we have access to, which gives us fresh produce, which we can distribute through our food pantry, but we also have a drop-in at the Victoria Centre on a Wednesday afternoon. So excess project from our allotment or any excess items that we have, people can just drop in and access those, and that's open to anybody. You don't have to have a referral, you don't have to be part of the food bank or food pantry. Anybody within the community can come to that. We also have, working with the Schools Trust to create a programme for early secondary school children, so age 7 to 9, looking at some of those foundational financial cornerstones, really, so personal finance, budgeting, all the things that we hear that people are struggling with through Next Steps. We're able to put that into the content. And that is pretty, I know that's quite a whistle stop there. There's a whole lot that we're doing and that we're going to be able to do because we now have the Victoria Centre as our permanent base and resource, and it's very exciting, and I'm sure that I whizzed through that really quickly, so if you do have any questions, then just come and find me hiding by the cake later. Is that all right?
We've got some photos. Can we go from the top, John, so that we can work our way through them? Fantastic. Did you want to talk about? Can you see them?
Oh, yes. So this is our food bank storage. So the main hall in the Victoria Centre has now been split into office space and storage for our food bank. So we pre-pack food parcels which are delivered out to the different centres that we have. We have 7 across Southport. So those very attractive looking crates, that's where we keep all our food. It's predominantly long life food, so tins of beans, tins of soup, that kind of thing. We do now have some fresh produce which comes from the allotment, which is great. Oh, that's me. That's the back. Is that the same jumper that I was? Oh no, I have more jumpers than this, honestly. Yes, so that's our office space. We're very pleased to now have working Wi-Fi, because that was a constant struggle for us. I don't think a day goes by when one of us doesn't say thank you for working Wi-Fi. That is going to be one. Oh, that's our staff room kitchen, isn't it? Sorry, can't really see. So that was the kitchen. That's now going to be a staff room for us. And then that's one of our meeting rooms. I can't see what that is. That someone packing a bag? That's someone packing a bag, packing a food parcel. Now we're back to the beginning, now with our warehouse. Oh, that's our Wednesday drop-in. As I say, that's open to anybody. And in the next few weeks, we're actually going to be doing a leaflet drop around the local area to make sure that the local community knows that we are there and that we are a resource that can be accessed. And as I say, you don't need to be part of food bank or food pantry. Anybody can turn up and they just give a donation that is as much as they feel able to give. Some of our lovely allotment produce there. The allotment is primarily used by the Next Steps clients, but also volunteers as well. So we're using that as a resource to improve mental well-being, because people can get out, be outside and be doing something physical. And obviously then it gives us the fresh produce to use in our food projects as well, which is great. I think that's some donations from Our Lady of Compassion for me, I think. And then that is a new meeting room that we are creating. so that we'll have 3 meeting rooms, and then the room at the very front is what we're calling the community room, which is the one that we'll use for any classes or courses or anything that we run. And that's our new signage.